Hey, deserving listeners, it's just me today. Today, I'm going to talk about self-disclosure. But first, I want to read an email from patron Kate. She writes, "Hi, Kirk. I am a proud patron of the podcast, and I'm also a graduate student getting my MSW. I was wondering if you could do an episode on disclosure. I'm doing my second-year internship at a well-known psychiatric hospital, and my supervisor really frowns on disclosure. I find myself struggling with this a lot. It's not that I want to bring the conversation back to me, but I want to relate to the patients as fellow human beings and to let them know someone really does understand and that they aren't alone. I get that one could potentially do this without disclosing anything, but it feels unnatural and not nearly as effective as self-disclosure. I'd be really interested to hear your process of deciding and why you don't want your clients to know certain things about you, but are okay with them knowing others." She asks a few other questions here. "Do you ever find it hard to hold back from relating?" Or I'm guessing she's asking, to hold back from self-disclosing about my experience. "Do you have any stories from when you ended up regretting sharing or not sharing something? What do you do when clients ask you about yourself? Do you correct them when they've assumed something about you that isn't true? Has self-disclosure ever worked in your favor or have been held against you? For example, do you find that struggling parents tend to like knowing they are seeing a therapist who has kids as well? Any thoughts or musings you have on this complex topic of disclosure would be much appreciated." Also, patron Alexandra wrote in, she is a tattoo artist, and she finds that when she self-discloses to her clients relax significantly. So she also wanted me to talk about self-disclosure. Yeah, there's a lot of misinformation out there, apparently. When I talk with people about this, particularly trainees and supervisees, novice therapists, I almost never hear them say things that make sense to me. They often will tell me things, and I'll say, like, "Where did you learn that from?" And they'll be like, "Oh, well, 5 professors told me this," or 3 supervisors told me this. And I'll just be like, man, there's a lot of misinformation out there. And the thing is there's actually a lot of empirical studies on self-disclosure. There's a lot of research and science that has looked into the effectiveness of self-disclosure and the qualities of good self-disclosure and the qualities of bad self-disclosure. So it's not like there isn't good research and literature out there. So it's a bit of, to me, in my anecdotal experience, there's a huge gap between the consensus and the research and what is often taught to students and to supervisees. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So self-disclosure, for those of you that aren't in the biz, is basically when a therapist reveals something about themselves to their clients. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the definitions, the typologies, the research. Is it helpful? Is it harmful? What do I do? What do I tell my supervisees to do? And I'm also, at the end, going to provide my guidelines regarding self-disclosure based on the research and my own experience. Welcome to the Psychology in Seattle podcast. I am your host, Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. This episode is just for patrons of the podcast, so if you're listening to this and you're not a patron of the podcast yet, this episode will end before the content begins. If you want to hear the full episode, you have to become a patron of the podcast by going to patreon.com. That's patreon.com. When you become a patron, you'll get access to hundreds of patron-exclusive episodes in which we do deep dives into various topics like this topic of self-disclosure. And when you become a patron, you don't have to listen to the vast majority of commercials. And remember that a portion of your monthly pledge goes towards various charities that we support.